This is my 2006 1,1 Mac Pro, which we modified in the first season of the Mac Pro series and turned it into a 2,1 spec. And did a lot of different mods on it. And in today's video, I'm wondering, is this thing still viable in 2025? Let's find out. Anyway, I'm Greg Rudke Mods, and welcome to this episode where we're going to see if my 2006 1,1 Mac Pro is still viable in 2025. And I haven't used this system other than for a few minutes, a few years ago. Since 2019, it hasn't been turned on. And it's been slowly getting parts taken out of it to put in other systems. But in today's video, we're going to make this thing run properly again. It's got most of the drives, I think, that are needed to keep it running. I think it still has my Windows 10 install in it, and it still has my Capitan install in it. I'm sure of that. So we're going to be using this 3,1 2600 HD for boot screen and I think this is a 360X OEM Dell card. I've taken all the cards out of it, as you can see. This card here should give very good acceleration in El Capitan. If it works, I think this will work in El Capitan. I hope it does. And we will have to probably take this card out to run Windows 10. But in conjunction with these two in El Capitan, these should work. And in today's video, we're just going to see if we can make this thing work properly and use it in 2025. So let's go. Okay, so if you guys don't remember the specs of this system, this is a dual quad core with 3 gigahertz CPUs in it. It's a dual Xeon system, and that means it's an 8-core, 3 gigahertz system, which is quite modern in today's standards. And it's got 32 gigs of RAM in it on these cards right here. So that's a lot of modern day RAM right there also. Even though it's DDR2 and kind of slow, it's still a lot of RAM. And that's why this system's still kind of viable 19 years later. So if we put this thing back together real quick, and I'll time lapse this, we should be able to hook it up, and it should, in theory, just work. I hope it does. So, let's find out. Let's find out. I think everything's in here other than whatever this drive was. I think this was my video storage drive. So we should be able to put the side on, hook it up to this monitor, and it should just turn on, I hope. We'll find out. Okay, it's time for the first power on of this system since, I think maybe 2023, but really since 2019. And I don't even know what it boots into anymore. I think it defaulted to Windows, but we'll find out. Let's turn it on. Hold in Option and see what happens. Come on, video. Hello, video. Video, where are you? What the? That's not a good sign. It's hooked into the EFI card. It should just turn on. All right, let's try it again. Power button. There it goes. I guess the GPU wasn't plugged in right. All right, there's my boot menus. Awesome. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, ow. Okay. So yeah, I think only my storage drive's missing. So hit enter, and let's boot it into El Capitan. Well, while it boots up, let's move you guys over here. If I can get up. Oh. Okay, so it's booted up here, and we've got a lot of pop-ups because it doesn't have an NVIDIA card in it right now. let's see here. I am not getting any video out of the Dell card. Let's see if it identifies it. It doesn't. Well, that's not good. I figured that would work. So I guess we'll be using El Capitan with the 2600 HD. Yeah. Well, that's fun. Yippee. Okay, so I'm going to log this into my Wi-Fi real quick, and then we'll take it from there. All right, so what can you do with El Capitan in 2025? This particular version hasn't been updated since late 2017, because if you update it anywhere past that on this system, it will no longer boot because the CPUs don't support anything past that. You can't run Sierra or newer either. So Open Core Legacy Patcher and all that stuff is useless, but it still is a useful system. And even though this system hasn't been updated since 2017, it will still sign into your iCloud and sync with your iCloud and stuff, which I have done. So that's cool. It still links right up to my iCloud and works great. Anyway, with El Capitan, even though this particular version hasn't been updated since 2017, it's still pretty current in certain ways. Now, you may notice, for instance, I have Firefox here. This is an old copy of Firefox. How old are we talking here? 78.15 ESR. This is the last update. I probably downloaded this in 2023. So, yeah. That's pretty old. But there is a new custom Firefox we're going to put on here. So we'll stick this in here. And alright, so we got this new version of Firefox on here. We'll put it in here. And we will replace the current one, which is currently running. Let's close that. Let's close that. Thank you. Replace. Alright, so when I open up Firefox, it should be the new one. I hope. And looky there. How about that? So if we open up Firefox, this is the most recent version, 141. And yes, it's still getting updates. How did I get this? I'll show you real quick. Say hello to Firefox Dynasty, which supports 10.7.5 and later. Lion's got a little work around you have to do to get it to work, but we'll work on Lion. This will work in every macOS from Lion and on. So this is still a very recent, brand new Firefox, which we can get at GitHub. And this actually been updated again since I downloaded this version. So there's actually even a newer one now. That's pretty neat. And I don't know what that is. That is an old plugin from an eon ago. Fun. 1 second. But yeah, even the more recent versions right here, which we will download just to have it, and use it, I guess. We'll save that, and it will be downloaded. It is downloaded. We unzip it. And if you notice, this system's still really fast. It's impressively fast, even today. If I could hit the right button here. Here we go. So what we're going to do is drop this into here. Replace again. Before we go back to that Firefox, let's go over the system specs again. We've got 8 3 gigahertz cores here and 32 gigs of RAM. This is pretty darn modern in today's standards, even today. So this is why it's still kind of viable. Now with El Capitan, I wouldn't be recommending doing my banking and stuff on El Capitan. But with this latest version of Firefox, it's still basically secure enough where you could get most of the things that you needed to do done. And now it's got to verify. I'll be right back. All right, so let's open up Firefox. As we can see here, it's pretty darn quick. We'll open up, let's go to YouTube. This is not sped up or anything, and it's just working. That's an interesting video to suggest. Okay, so, yeah. Let's go to my channel here.
Greg's the king of the tech scene. Apple Mac mods pushing boundaries with no routine. Break.
Well, OCLP Nightly 3 has been out for over a week now. Now, if we had a newer video card in here that actually supported this OS, I used to run a GTX 970 in this. It would still have full acceleration and we wouldn't have any lag right now. So take that with a grain of salt. We've got this 2009 Mac Mini here. And to try to run there we go. Beta 4 on it. So maybe in theory it will actually work. Maybe it won't. We'll see. Let's find out. And yeah, it's fairly quick. We're going to try to install Tahoe Beta 4. It's a little laggy. And I just kind of wanted to do this because this is one that... come on. There we go. We're running at 720p right now. Stop. 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 Right now we're running stop. Why are you not stopping? There we go. So, we should have all the controls to make this, please, thank you, okay. What? I didn't click that. Ha. The new YouTube kind of sucks. So yeah, we could go up to 4K and all that stuff like my video is. With this browser, and it works very well from what I've heard. I haven't gotten to test this with a good card on this system yet, so I really don't know. But this should be able to play 1080p. Let's see. Sure, a little paper on it because of the acceleration issues. Basically anything after Ventura doesn't run very well on these systems. It's slow. That's 1080p. It's a lot faster than it would be, but it does work. This would be a lot more impressive if I had a better card in here that worked. But hey, it works. We can use YouTube. We can also use Facebook on this. This browser is modern enough where everything just works, and that's awesome. It's still a very useful system just with a working browser, and it should load up everything perfectly fine. I haven't signed in a while on this, but it should work. So it's just as fast as a modern day system online, and it works the way it should. And there's many different things about these systems once you upgrade them and run El Capitan on them. Of course, you got to remember you can't run any RAM DIMMs in it that are smaller than 2 gigabytes. And we have 4 gigs in this, all through here, which is awesome. There was a problem with the boot.efi on this. It won't work with anything smaller than a 2 gig stick. So if you have one of these systems and you get them cheap or free, you can get these free now. It's you just got to keep that in mind. You've got to make sure you've got at least 2 gig DIMMs in it, and it should work. And it works quite well. And there's so many things you can still do with this thing. Like we can run Photoshop, of course. And this is my old copy of Photoshop that used to make my thumbnails. That works. And let's see here. We can run iMovie eventually. iMovie is what started the channel back up after I got out of Windows Movie Maker. So I've had this on here for a long time. As we can see, here's my, my Macintosh Plus videos. That was probably one of the last videos I did in iMovie. So that was a long time ago. And we can run Final Cut Pro. Of course, it's an older version, but it still does what it needs to do. It doesn't like this video card, but it will still run. And there we go. We got Final Cut going. And this is also running my Macintosh Plus video. Weird. It's saying it's damaged because it's missing one of the drives. Okay, go away. Go away. But yeah, it works. And we could scrub through the video. And, I mean, it's a video. Still sounds like it's trying to read something. You might find it eventually. And the nice thing about this system is it's got enough horsepower where it can edit 1080p video. 1080p 30 should do it in real time, maybe a little faster in rendering. 1080p 60 is pushing it on this system. But hey, if you film in 1080p 60, it might take double real time, which is not super great, especially if it's like an hour-long video where you're talking like 2 hours of rendering. But it will do it, and you can edit and scrub and all that stuff, and it should just work. And yeah, this is an old video. Wonder what else is still on here. Season 2 of the PowerPC series. Let's see here. This one was edited in 2018. And compounded with the fact that I think there's a power delivery issue on this board. It's time to replace it. So that's what we're going to do. It just works. It does everything it needs to do. Of course, this copy of Final Cut Pro is 10.3.4, which I think's the last El Capitan supported one. But it does it. It works. You could work with it. So, yeah. Is it still viable? Yes. Even in macOS, it's still viable. But we're going to boot this into Windows 10 now. Wish me luck. I'm going to take out the 2600 HD 2600, whatever it is, and we're just going to boot off of the 360 or whatever is in here, and hopefully it will work. So I need to change my boot options. We'll have it boot into Windows 10 and hit restart. And it should start booting into Windows 10. All right, we've got the HD 2600 out of it. Let's power it back on. The only reason why I'm taking this out is because generation differences between ATI and AMD graphics and all this stuff will cause conflicts in Windows, blah, 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 blah. So, that's loud. But anyway, so with this out, we won't have any driver conflicts. We've got the Dell card in here. We're going to be staring at a black screen for a little bit. Actually, there we go. It's already booting up. That's awesome. And of course, this doesn't have the graphics drivers on it because it's set up for an NVIDIA card. And I don't think I've booted into Windows since 2017 or 2018 on this thing. So it's got an old copy of Windows 10 on it, but I've got the most recent 22H2 on here. So we'll update this and get all the graphics drivers going, and then we'll come back. This is the version of Windows 10 I am currently running, which is one of the 2017 versions. So this is 1703 or 170... I forget. TeamViewer won't connect, I know that. So yeah, it's a little outdated right now. We're going to update it real quick, and then we'll come back. That's cool. I forgot this thing's still set up with the HFS Plus drivers, which it just suddenly froze. Why did it do that? I don't know what that was, but yeah, we can still access our HFS drivers here, and we can look into our Mac drive and everything. That's neat. I wonder if that will still work when we update to 22H2. We'll open it up here. It's not seeing any of the files. This is the file, I think. Yeah. That is weird. It must be a graphics driver thing. We'll fix all that. I physically can't see any of the drivers on here, and OneDrive's being OneDrive. So I am trying to put the graphics drivers on here before I can actually see what I'm doing. Can we just please do this? Okay, stop with the Microsoft garbage. This is getting annoying because I can't see what I'm doing. Yeah. Now I'm going crazy. I can't figure out how to get the drivers to install because this is the world's longest. I can't find the button on the stupid window, and it won't. And I can't read any of the text. This was a bad idea to use this card. Okay, so I think I figured out the equation here, I hope. So I've got the folder here, and I've got to trace it. Update driver, that one, that one, that one, that one, desktop, last folder, second folder, that folder, that folder, then top folder. And it's got to be one of these. And then I think it's that button. The folder U. What does that mean? Oh. Yeah. That was the wrong folder. This is probably the right driver. Next. We'll see. Well, I got good news and bad news. Good news is it, I guess, works, but the text still won't show up. That's great. Yeah. 1 second. Quick restart later, and everything seems to be working now. So we can open up files, and now I can actually read the drives and stuff. I don't care, OneDrive, go away. How about we just open it? Can we just open it? I just want to open it. Windows Explorer. What the? I don't care. SharePoint. Explorer. Yay. Now we can update it. Yeah. Yeah. I just figured out why it's been going all haywire. It's because it's folding. It automatically folds when it starts up, which, yeah, I'd rather not do that right now, but hey, it's, yeah. Yeah. So let's stop that, keep it from going on, and yeah. All right, I'm going to update this thing real quick, and then we will, come back when it's finished updating to the latest version of Windows 10. And we are updating. I'll see you in about 30 minutes to an hour. This is going fairly quick. I've only been sitting here like 20 minutes or so. It is getting kind of old, though, but hey, it's working. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I smacked the system by accident and it panicked. Well, it looks like I'm sitting here for another hour. I've got another idea. I actually am running 23H2 Windows 11 on my 1,1 Pro next door, and I'm just going to go pull the SSD out of it so we can speed this along before I start going nuts. Alright, we got the SSD from my oldest folding machine that I currently have running on and off. This has 23H2 Windows 11 on it, and all the drivers to make this work. It should just be plug and play. We'll see what happens. It immediately saw it when I plugged it in. Let's go to, okay, go away. Boot Camp Manager. And it sees it. I think that's it. We'll find out. Apply. Okay. Let's restart and hopefully it starts into Windows 11. Well, that's a good sign. And welcome to Windows 11 23H2. Before you ask, 24H2 will not run on these CPUs. We'll talk about that at the end of the video during the wrap-up. But here we are running and everything seems to be working. Volume works, mute works, everything seems to be working fine. We have control panel and it is also working. Awesome. So yeah, everything that's supposed to work on here is working. Here's our 8 cores and our 32 gigs of memory and the SSD we have in here that's not maxed out, and the SSHD, which was maxed out, and that's the one that runs Windows 10 and El Capitan, and a bunch of storage drives and stuff that we can't read data off of because we don't have the drivers for it. But we're running Windows 11 now, and as we can see here, it's pretty darn quick. This is actually quite usable. Alright, let's do a speed test here. We'll open up Edge because that's currently what I have on here. Like I said, this was the folding drive, so I don't need all the other stuff. There's my hospital video. Wow, it's actually really fast. Go to my channel. I am not getting any sound. Why am I not getting sound? Well, the sound drivers for Windows 11 apparently aren't working, but as we can see, it's faster. I never bothered setting up the sound drivers because it was just strictly a folding machine. But as we can see here, it works really fast and everything seems to work fine. This is super usable. And as we can see, it's even better than El Capitan because it's got an accelerated graphics card in it that actually works. Here is 4K, which the CPU can't render 4K super great, but it's doing it. Let's put it down to 2K. There's 1440. It's running 1440. Full screen. Very smooth, very fast, very usable. As a Windows machine, these things are super usable. It's super capable. And everything just loads up super fast. I mean, just look how fast that is. None of this is sped up. This is just how fast this system works. This is a very useful system in 2025, at least on PC side and on Mac side, but for the Mac side, well, we'll talk about that at the wrap-up too. But as we can see here, this system's still very capable for being 19 years old. And I find it very impressive just how good it does perform. And it it works quite well, and I am very happy with it. And yeah, let's wrap up the video. So the 2006 Mac Pro, is it still usable in 2025? Yes. And as you saw, it runs El Capitan fine. If I had the proper accelerated card in it, it would run it even better. Now, if you could get one of these systems for free, which you can get these for free a lot now because people just keep tossing them out, it's definitely worth playing around with. It's still a usable system in 2025. And I'm hoping this video helps show you that, even though my Windows install on here is a little wonky. I used to game on this thing up until about 2018 or so. I gamed on this all the time, and it was a powerhouse. Now, games around 2018 started requiring certain CPU instructions this CPU just doesn't have. So you can't play those games anymore. But anything from about 2018 back, for the most part, will run on this. And of course, it will bottleneck some. But if you've got the right graphics card in it, it will still play them quite well. And the nice thing about this in Windows is you can run about any graphics card you want in it, and it will just work. But of course, you won't have a boot screen and all that stuff. 32-bit EFI is a pain to set up with Windows, but I've got tons of tutorials and stuff on how to make it work. And I'd recommend downloading one of my pre-made 32-bit ISO, 32-bit EFI ISO Windows 10 installs, and then you can upgrade from there. They're older versions, but once you install it, you can just upgrade it to the latest version of 22H2 and it will work. Or you can even do something better than that. Once you have it installed, you can install over top of that with the LTSC IoT version of Enterprise, which is supported until 2032. And that's what I'm getting at. This system's still usable in 2025, and it will still be usable at least to a certain degree until 2032 with Windows 10 if you run the IoT LTSC. And current Windows 10 still is supported until October, and you can get paid updates for another year, and maybe even a little further than that. But if you want to keep getting updates, install LTSC or IoT LTSC, and you'll get updates to 2027 or 2032, depending which version you install. It's the same OS, just different keys. And the nice thing about IoT LTSC is it's extremely lightweight. You can still have all the features that you enjoy in Windows 10 on it, but you've got to custom install them yourself. Like Windows Store is not actually included, but it can be installed. And I've played around with that in my early 2008 MacBook Pro, and it works quite well. I think I forgot to mention that why running Windows 10 is a thing you need to do, and that's because Windows 10 is the last fully supported OS for this hardware. Windows 11, like the 23H2 I'm running on here, this is 23H2. This is from last year. And support gets dropped at the same time Windows 10 does in October. You can't run 24H2 or anything newer because the CPUs won't let you. So you have to run Windows 10. Really, this system is super usable. Now, like I said, if I had an accelerated card that actually worked properly, in El Capitan you can run up to a Maxwell card with NVIDIA graphics, so GTX 900 series or back. And for AMD, I think it's up to the HD 7000 series. And those cards are still very good for even Windows and light gaming and all that stuff. So you could still run Windows. Of course, NVIDIA just dropped support for Maxwell cards, but they're still current enough and still efficient enough to play the modern day games. They'll work for now, which is awesome. This system's still pretty darn useful, especially since It can't play the most recent games because the CPU limitations. You don't have to worry about graphics drivers not being supported because, you know, having graphics drivers from 2025 that just got dropped on a game from 2018 or older, you're not going to have to worry about that. But this thing is still very useful. You can still edit with it. You can do this, you can do that. With that new version of Firefox, you can still use El Capitan with the current version of Firefox and still use this thing like a brand new system. I mean, El Capitan's getting very long in the tooth at this point, especially since this is a 2017 version, because 2018-01 or whatever it was called broke the boot process on this. So this is running, I think, 2017-05. Security update. Anything past that, it won't run. But it's still El Capitan. It still runs the latest applications that supported El Capitan. You can still use that Firefox on here, and it still works as a usable system. And in 2025, for a 19-year-old computer to be able to do what it does, it's very amazing. This thing has so much horsepower in it that it was way ahead of its time. And sure, I would not recommend just going out and buying one. But if you already have one or you get one for free, go for it. And if you want to experiment, if you get them extremely cheap, it's still kind of worth playing with. But you have to consider, in its stock form, it's not going to be super great. You will still need to upgrade the video card and maybe upgrade the RAM depending on what it has in it. But other than that, even on a hard drive, this thing's really quick. Even in Windows 10, it was really quick until my install corrupted, as you saw. And then for some reason just keeps hitting the hard drive. I don't know why it's doing it. But I mean, if anything, get a cheap SSD, shove it in it. It's a useful system. You can still use these things, and it's very impressive. And even Mark from Super Ice Cream Sandwich used this thing to play VR. He had one that played VR. This was years ago, but it could do it. These things could run VR. And you could probably still kind of get away with it, but I'd say the newer hardware just doesn't work with the CPU. But with the right GPU and the older hardware for VR, it can do VR. That's pretty cool. And like I said, you can edit video and all that stuff on it. It's a little slow, but it will do what you need it to do. And you could even run your own whole YouTube channel on it if you kept it at 1080p. I mean, I ran my YouTube channel off of this thing for years. As you saw, my last edits on it were from around 2018. I was still using this thing to edit my videos in 2018. And it could do it. And it could still do it today. But I now shoot in 4K, and the CPUs just don't like that. But if you shoot 1080, it will do it. And it does it quite well. It is a little slow, but it will do it. And with the right accelerated graphics card, you can scrub and everything in real time, and it still does it fine. It's a functional system, and I might do some more things with this in the future, because I kind of want to revive this thing and use it as a daily user again. And it's in such a sorry, sad state from years of me stripping parts out of it, but the bones are still here and it's still wanting to live. And I think it's time to revive it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I apologize if there's any blurriness or anything, because I'm still filming with the camera that was in the motorcycle accident. I managed to get the sapphire that was shattered out of it. But the focal point's a little different now, so I don't know if it's actually in focus. So I apologize for that if I'm still waiting on the new phone from Apple. But yeah, That's the end of today's video. Don't forget I have Patreon and memberships if you'd like to check those out. Links in the video and the description and all that stuff. And I have you can buy me a coffee. You can do this. You can do that. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. And that's the end of today's video. This has been a Wreck Mods video. I can't kneel on this seat. Oh, that's where suck. Ow! I hope I'm in frame. Pain. Lots of pain. Oh. Ow! So if you... Don't lean on that, idiot. Do it there. That's a good idea. Okay.